Hi guys, welcome to another Ask Me Anything video. Today we actually got another question asking us, what if you have an idea, however, kind of succeeding with that idea would put you in an industry or market that you don't really want to be within? So this comes up a lot for me because I get a lot of questions. Weird or not, it is what it is. But a lot of people ask me, they're like, hey, I want to get in either the vape industry or the porn industry, not being a porn star, but like just being within that industry, creating a site around it or something. And I'm not sure if I really want to deal with kind of the implications that come with it, right? So, well, it's kind of like you have to understand that there is a lot of money in those industries for a reason, right? Because there's a lot of liability. And whenever someone is willing to assume that liability, just like in the weapons business or in other things, then that liability comes with a reward. But obviously, the greater the risk, the greater the reward, which also means the greater the area of gray. And what I mean by that is when you operate in a lot of gray area businesses, businesses that operate not in the black and white, not that are your typical businesses, not your typical ideas, then it comes with obviously kind of an undisclosed kind of memo that says, hey, you know what? You're going to have to figure out how to navigate the gray, which, other people have navigated but never really talked about. Plus, you're actually going to have to figure out how that all works out within your own circumstance in life. And I think a lot of people like the idea of making a lot of money, which is very typical from a very young age because we're taught that money is the measure of success. But very few people understand that money can never be the goal. And so if you're only going in a venture with the idea of making money, especially in those industries, like what value is there to poisoning people with vape? What value is there to providing more porn, right? There's enough of it. Like if it was something you were inventing, that was one thing, but you're not. So the whole goal of those industries is to make money. Like it is to be in a position where your business is making more money than your competitors. And so don't go in a business that's completely money driven if you're not willing to make money the core focus of what you do and kind of almost have to give up your morale around how you think about your business. Like you can't have like the whole conscious part of your life being like, well, I feel bad, but I want to still make money doing this, but I kind of feel bad selling people vape. So it doesn't work that way. If you're going to be in that business, you have to kind of forfeit that aspect of your life and say, hey, I'm okay doing this regardless of the implications or how bad it's going to look or if someone figures it out. I think it's Robert Simiar, the guy that owns FTV Girls. I had a conversation with him in the Secret Entourage Academy, and nobody had interviewed him regarding, what he does with FTV and the success he's had, and he's got all these Bugattis and everything. And he talks about like how much that's impacted his personal life, and he's a really nice guy. Like he's not the typical guy that's like all about like I'm gonna make money and the sleazy guy you would expect from someone in that industry. Instead, he's a very proper guy. He went to school to be a dentist. He chose this route because there was more money in it, and he found it to be successful and fun. Now, he also talks about how he lost, his fiance, and he lost all the people that mattered to him because they couldn't deal with the fact that when his secret was exposed that he was the one behind FTV Girls, nobody could deal with that fact and still, look at him in the eye and be like, hey, I want to live with you or do this. So, it changed the dynamics of his life, and he's accepted that that is now part of what he does. And while he's trying to, as he explained to me, during our conversation, that he's trying to get into the video game vertical outside of the adult industry, there is always going to be kind of this stigma around it, and that he likes it or not, he's going to have to deal with it. Now, he's going to have to deal with it as he's driving, in his McLaren P1 or in his Bugatti, which many people would say, hey, I don't really give a shit about the stigma if I have a Bugatti and a P1. But at the same time, you also have to understand that 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 high that you get from having money only can last so long before it crashes you really hard. And so you have to make sure that you can either maintain that high in one way or another to kind of justify to yourself how you can keep going. And then two, you have to understand that it's very hard to reverse it, especially if you have a massive amount of success within it. It's very hard to be known for something else when that stigma happens because society, unfortunately, doesn't look at life the same way that real entrepreneurs look at it or look at opportunity and kind of seize the opportunity from a monetary standpoint. People don't look at it that way. And as much as that's okay with you, it's not always okay with those around you. Remember, there's two types of perspectives in life. There is self perspective and awareness, And then there's that kind of like the awareness of of that third perspective of yourself by others, which is again a big part of third circle theory, but it's what people lack. They kind of don't see in the mirror the true essence of who they are, so their view of how others see them is obviously inaccurate. And so my whole thought around that is just, understand that being in those industry, and understand that being or doing something you don't want to kind of be known for will eventually catch up with you. It doesn't mean that it's bad per se. You just have to learn to actually live with it. And that's really all there is to it. If you can learn to live with it, then you should be just fine going forward. All right, guys. So the next question comes to us from Instagram, asking, does location make a difference in your, I guess, success?